Hey, it's Nancy from Nancy Chu Homes. It is the week of Thanksgiving, and I thought we would have a little break by now in the real estate market, but it's actually still been pretty active, which is a little bit surprising. September is usually a transitional month for real estate. The kids go back to school and things, the weather starts to turn, everyone starts to prepare for the holidays. So most people kind of think that the market's going to slow down a little bit. Well, interestingly enough, this kind of hasn't been the case. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. In September, CoreLogic, they released an interesting report. It's the housing sentiment report. And I thought it was really, so just so you know, CoreLogic, what they do is they do real estate data. They're a data gathering machine for real estate or for property. And I thought it was really interesting. So when they released this report, the report has a couple of, it's not new information, but putting it all together, I was able to sort of think about it in relationship to our local market, and I wanted to share those thoughts with you guys today. So first of all, let's start off with a super basic concept, which is, and people ask me this all the time, even though we've talked about it, which is, why is real estate expensive? Why is it expensive to buy a home right now? Why is it expensive to rent a home right now? Think of this as, when we talk about the housing shortage, think of it as a game of musical chairs, okay? So a game of musical chairs, there are not enough chairs to go around. So everybody dances around it, and eventually the music stops and someone's left without a chair. So that's really what's going on. Okay, so couple this with the fact that the CoreLogic report has indicated that nationally, 50% of homes are being sold at over asking. Okay, that's nationally. That's not. We're not even talking about the metropolitan markets or right here by us in northern New Jersey. We're talking about nationally. Okay, so given that, we're looking at national home prices have gone up by 18%. 18%. Okay. That's an average number. So just imagine the onset of the sort of the far end of that. That means, 36%? That in some markets it's gone up as much as 36%, possibly even more if some markets have actually gone down, as in, some of the urban markets have gone down because of the pandemic. So we're talking about some markets might even have grown by possibly more than that. So interestingly enough, it does not feel like it's slowing down, really. I'll be the first to tell you, my team wrote 8 offers yesterday. So we were very surprised we were writing 8 offers the week of Thanksgiving. So just thought I would sort of introduce this information to you. One of the challenges that we're seeing and why it's affecting markets even further out, right? So we're accustomed to being 12 miles outside of New York City. We're seeing markets that are up to 20, 25, 30 miles outside of New York City be just as heated as some of the markets closer to the city. Because, I would tell you that folks in response to the pandemic have decided that some of them are still interested in going to less dense areas. So we're seeing, 10 offers for a house. 11 offers for a house in Morris Plains, which is the week of Thanksgiving, which is totally surprising and really telling about the market. So do I think this is slowing down anytime soon? I don't know. Okay, so how does this apply to our market area? Well, since the CoreLogic article came out in September, I wanted to compare September over September, which is September of 2020 versus September of 2021. So we can see what kind of changes have occurred in the last year when we compare apples to apples, which is month to month, okay? There are 5 really specific metrics that I think are super important to look at, and I'm going to show you some examples now. I picked Essex County just because it's a really consistent landing point for a lot of folks coming from the city. So I picked 5 examples of these metrics in Essex County, and the first one being East Orange City, okay? First metric that's of interest is new listings, the number of new listings coming onto the market. So as you can see here, in 2020, we had 45 new listings come on in September, but in 2021, we had only 26. That is a 42% drop in the number of new listings entering the market. in a town like East Orange. That's a real challenge. That's a real challenge. It's certainly an inventory loss. Now let's look at Glen Ridge. Glen Ridge is sort of interesting because, as you can see, also in comparison, we can look at inventory existing for September, not just new inventory, but inventory of homes for sale in general. And as you can see, in 2020, there were 18 homes, and in 2021, there were 9 homes. That is a 50% drop in generalized overall held inventory in the town of Glen Ridge. That's a real big problem as well. Now let's look at Montclair. Montclair is an interesting one because I wanted to look at the at the month supply of inventory. So the month supply of inventory, that's called the absorption rate. And the absorption rate is when we take all the houses that are for sale in a town and for any given period, in this case, in the month of September. And then we look at all the houses that went under contract during that same month. And given the amount of time, at the rate at which houses are going under contract, how much time would it take to sell the remaining inventory? Well, as you can see, in 2020, it was about 3 months of inventory, but in 2021, we're looking at 1 month of inventory. 1 month from a national, I was going to say, I believe nationally right now, it's about 2.5 to almost 3 months. So as you can see, this is significantly low absorption rate. Now, next metric, median sale price. I thought you guys would like to see Newark. This is just unbelievable. Check this out. Median sale price in 2020 of $215,000. And now this year, $343,000. We are talking about an almost 60% increase in median sale price. That is amazing, okay? Let's look at Verona. Verona has such a dramatic key metric here, which is this is the day on market until sale. How many days does it take for a house to go under contract once it hits the market? Check this out. In 2020, it was 56 days, but in 2021, it is 16. That is over 70% decrease in the day on market for Verona. So what does all this mean? This basically means that I'm pretty certain that the market's going to stay relatively buoyant through the end of the holiday season, going into next year. Interest rates are still predominantly low. I will tell you that to me, it's an indication that the spring market is going to be absolutely outrageous. People are going to flock back when the weather is good, and they're going to want to be in their new homes before school starts in August, September of 2022, which makes the spring market, I think, is going to be wild. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. Have a happy Thanksgiving. And by the way, if you are still looking to donate a coat, we are still interested in taking them. You can always reach out directly to me. And don't forget to listen to our podcast, LOL Girls Podcast, which can be found on Apple Podcasts and other major fine podcast distributors. All right. Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you guys soon.